social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Grace and peace, everyone. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You saw it, so let's get to it. Let's go. Casundra sat down with Regina Waldroup. Let's go ahead and see how it went. Let's go.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and how are you?
I'm doing good also.
That's good.
Let's talk about Dalton.
Oh, let's talk.
What does this community mean to you?
This community means a lot to me. When I moved here, I met a lot of great people, built a really solid bond with the neighbors. And there were times that I could have easily left, but I stayed because I truly love the community and I love my neighbors. It's hard to get good neighbors. And when you got neighbors that's like family, it's priceless.
That kept you in this community, the neighbors, the community feel, the family feel.
Yes.
How long have you lived here?
I've been here 17 years now.
17 years.
Yes.
And what made you choose Dalton out of all the other South Lake communities or the city? What made you come to this location?
Well, how I came to this location, well, first through marriage. My husband, his mother, unfortunately, she passed away. She was dealing with some health issues. So in order for us to be able to take care of her, we had to find a house. So we found the home here. We moved her in so we can care for her 24/7. But unfortunately, she had to go into a nursing home, and from there she transitioned. So we end up keeping the house. Yeah.
Dalton's in the news a lot lately. When you hear the stories, when you hear about them, you see them, how does it make you feel?
It's really disappointing because we have been national news, not for a good thing. It's been a really bad negative thing. And speaking with the residents, talking with the people that live in the village, it's just been so draining. It's been like a nightmare that just won't go away. It's like no matter what you do, it's like I go to sleep, I wake up, and the problem is still here. So it's been a nightmare.
But there's so many good things happening in this community, but they're being overshadowed by all the negative news.
Yes.
Do you think you can change that?
Most definitely. I have the personality. I have the wherewithal. Of course I can change it. I jumped in the race.
Okay, I got to disagree right there. You have the personality to change what's going on in Dalton? Ma'am, I'm sorry. That's not even reality. That's not even in the hemisphere of reality. Ma'am, you sound just like Tiffany. And at the current moment, nobody sees and nobody thinks about Tiffany as being able to turn around Dalton. Ma'am, you are delusional. I'm sorry, you are grade A delusional. But even more than that, I want to hear policies. I understand it's draining. I understand there's a lot of fighting and bickering, which is not foreign to any other area. It might be a little bit more because so many eyes are on it, but really, this is not abnormal for a lot of these. Sadly, a lot of communities see this kind of stuff. What are you going to do differently? That's what we want to hear, policies.
To change it. You know, we have to change the narrative. We don't want people to see us that we're just this community that's constantly suffering or living in poverty, because it's far from what the image that has been put out on the internet. You have a lot of working class people here. You have a lot of retired people here. Just on this block alone are working class people. So to put that image out that the average person only makes like $25,000 or $20,000 a year is false. It is an excellent community with good people. We just need a change in leadership that's going to bring the morale back, that's going to build this community back up, make it a place that's happy for the people to live at again.
So when you said that these people are just one paycheck away from being homeless, was that encouraging and edifying? Was that saying that these are middle-class people when you said they're broke, busted, and disgusted? I'm just wondering. I don't know how to play the game. I'm sorry.
How long did you think about, I need to be in this race. I need to be, I'm that person. Did it take you long to figure that out? Did you say, you know what, I'm running?
Well, actually, some years ago, it just came to me and I was like, you know what, I'm going to run for mayor. And to be honest, I was like, it's going to be either Dalton or Harvey. But I'm like, I'm here in Dalton. And then when all this stuff started to transition, something inside of me said, now is the time. If you don't get in here and fight for the people and fight for what's right, who else will do it? So this is why my hat is in this ring, because I'm truly fighting for the people. I don't have any ulterior motive. I'm not looking for anything to gain. I will see a community that could be great. I live here. I don't like having to go into other communities and taking my resources to them. I like to be able to go downtown and to shop at a store, or to shop at or go to a nail salon, or shop at the pet store, and keep those resources here in the village. Once you hit a certain age, you're like, hey, it's all about comfort. And why can't we have this? And I shouldn't have to take my resources over to the neighboring suburb when I can have it right here. So I got in this race to build this community back up.
You're running.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. What is your policy? What is your plan to actually do that, though? Therein is the rub. You can say, again, you can identify a problem. Spotting a problem only requires that you have eyes that work or ears that can hear. That's all it requires. But to do something about it is a next step, dare I say 2 or 3 more steps than just saying, oh, there's a problem.
An independent party. What is the name of your party?
It's Rebuilding Dalton.
Rebuilding. Why did you choose to run as an independent?
Because when I look at the Democratic and the Republican Party, when I do my research and I look at the characters of a lot of these politicians, I don't want any part of it. You know, I'm a free thinker. I like to think on my own. I don't like to be boxed in. I'm a type of girl that thinks outside of the box. You know, don't box me in. There's a lot inside of me, and there's a lot for me to give and offer to the community. So independent is the only way to go. Yeah.
There are a lot of issues that, Lori Lightfoot was hired by majority trustees to look into. A lot of issues that she brought to light. Any of those issues really stick out to you that you think really need to be paid attention to or focused on?
Well, definitely the finances. You know, when you look at the deficit and you look at bills not being paid, you look at the mismanagement of money, that is one of the main things that we truly have to focus on. You have to manage your money. You got to budget your money. You got to, you got to live not beneath your means, but you got to live within your means. So that's one of the main issues is the budget and transparency. You know, I hear a lot of people say transparency, but are you really telling us the truth as far as to what's going on with the village? And honestly, I think not. There's a lot that's really going on that the people really don't even know. And it's important to be transparent. When I do things, I like to sit down and say, look, here's the books. This is where we're at. This is what we spent. This is what's coming in. And this is what's going out. And I believe when you have full transparency and you tell the people, then they don't mind getting behind you and rallying with you and being there for you. But you have to really, truly be transparent. You have to. That's the only way it's going to work.
Some other issues that residents have talked to me about is
I'm sorry, Regina, real quick. I think it's adorable that she talks about how ambiguous Lori Lightfoot's report was and how nebulous it was. And her answer to Regina's question is just as nebulous and just as non-concrete as possible. You're not giving us anything concrete, but you're okay with the fact that you're upset with the fact that Lori Lightfoot had to give non-concrete because you know why? Because the people weren't transparent with her. She didn't have all the information. So I just think that's adorable that she's literally calling out Lori for what she's doing in 4K.
Village Hall being closed off, you have that little area
Oh, yeah.
to do your business. And then also, it's going on, several months that the police department hasn't had a police chief.
Yeah. Especially with the village hall. There's days I've had to go take care of business and I feel like, oh God, I'm in a 4x4 box. Like, make this stuff make sense. As far as the police department, we have to get a chief that's going to build the morale of the officers. I've spoken with so many officers and the morality is so low. And I'm a firm believer when you build a morale, you make it a safe space for them to work. And then you have to build a bridge and close the gap between the residents and the police officers. They have to understand one another. And then there's another thing when I talk to officers, they're mentally so frustrated. And this is one of the things we need to do. We need to make sure we take care of the mental health of our officers because a lot of them are stressed. And I am a police officer's mother, so I understand it. And with my daughter, I have her once a month. We have a mental check. I create a safe space where you can come, you can sit, you can talk about the issues, you can talk about the things that you're dealing with on the job. You get a chance to release because a lot of these officers, they go out on the street, they're under so much stress. So by the time they get to that person that they're dealing with, they're just ready to offload their frustration. So we have to make sure we keep the mental health of our officers up to par.
Okay, that sounds really very, very lovey-dovey. But when the smoke clears, Dalton has a crime problem. And yes, we want officers that are dialed in, that are able to properly deal with the crime issues. But really, at the end of the day, Dalton has a crime issue. The chief of police is going to be managing a police force that is dealing with crime. Ma'am, what is your plan to get a police chief that is going to be capable of managing, I don't know how many, let's say there's 200 police officers in Dalton, managing all these men and women, and of course, all their different issues and such like that. But it was really going to be on that police chief, not the mayor. So what are you going to be doing to select the right person to put in that seat? That is the problem. That is the question.
With that in mind, the fire department also, they're working no contract. Again, some of the things you may want to look at when you get in office,
Yes.
but Is that something else that you?
Oh yes, most definitely. Because if your fire department, your police department, those are the main entities that you want up and running. You want to make sure those guys are taken care of. You want to make sure their pay is correct. You want to make sure their 401ks, all the benefits that come along with it, because they are the heartbeat of the community. If the house catch on a fire and we don't have firemen, we're in bad shape. So the police department, the fire department, those are major entities that must be taken care of.
Lori Lightfoot said, her investigation found these things, these problem areas, but she feels, that this community can get back to good government and can right the ship. Is that what you can do?
Yes. So today, I actually had a meeting with investors, and I have literally been going hard since I've jumped into this race. And a lot of the investors, they are willing to invest. They're willing to help bring businesses back into this community, but they want to make sure that they're doing it under the right leadership. It's nothing against the other two that has been in office or that's running for office, but they know me, they know of my character. A lot of them have worked with me. They're willing to bet their money on me and help building this community back up. And that's what we need. We know, economics. I mean, it's just like running a household. If you don't have any economics coming in, you can't run the household. So we got to get investors. We got to bring businesses back. When you make it attractive, then you start attracting home buyers. And a lot of these homes need to be put back on the tax brackets. And that's one of the things I have been doing here in Dalton since 2012. I have been making sure that every house possible, if I can help it, get it rehabbed, get it sold, get it back on the tax bracket. Because the more homeowners we have, it eases the load for everyone.
That's the first time I've ever heard. So she's saying that she flips houses. How do you get houses back on the tax roll and rehab them? Are you a house flipper? I've never heard this before. She didn't say this on any other interview that I've heard, especially when she's mentioned the investors, the magic investors. This is my first time hearing that. Where did this? Are you a house flipper? Are you a landlord? When is this happening?
It does, but property taxes have increased in this community and all throughout the Southland, and I would think something needs to be addressed there too, because a lot of people can't afford their homes.
Yes, well, I actually a week ago talked with a Cook County assessor concerning the taxes. You got to explain to me, why are you just raising taxes? What is the point of just sitting down saying, okay, we're going to raise taxes? Do you guys take the time out to actually come out and assess the homes, or you just sit behind a desk and just raise the prices? So yes, something definitely has to be done about that.
How do you get people to know who you are? Are you door knocking, or how do people get to know you, Casundra?
I'm a door knocker. I like to go knock on doors. When I came in this neighborhood, I knocked on every door and introduced myself. Hi, I'm Casundra. I'm your neighbor. Da 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 da. Let's get to meet. Let's sit and have lunch. I've thrown barbecues. I just, like for the women on the block, I'll throw a tea party. Come on, let me introduce myself so you can get to know me and things of that nature. So I'm a door knocker. I'm a people person. I like to go knock on doors, introduce myself. We were out this weekend and so many people invited us into the house. Come on in. And I'm like, yes, that's my type of thing. Talk to me. Tell me your issues. Tell me what you got going on. What are your concerns about the village? So I'm a door knocker. I got to get, I got to get out there. Internet is perfect. It's, it's fine and good, but it's nothing like that one-on-one contact with a resident.
Okay. So that I feel like is not genuine, because she just told us the other day she didn't want people in her personal space. She didn't want those people rolling up on her. And maybe the woman came with too much energy. I don't know. I just don't think that older woman that was asking her those questions really was coming with a lot of vitriol. It seemed like she was just asking her questions, and Cassie Crashout was not for it. Now, I'm not saying you're not a door knocker. I'm not saying you're not a people person. It just seemed like you're giving us two different stories. In public, you're okay, but you just told that person, don't mess around and find out. I don't know how this works. I really don't. Please, down in the comments, let me know how this works, please.
Social media is okay, but you're more that in-person contact.
Yes.
Because if a Dalton resident says, hey, I want to know more about her, what should we tell them?
You should, first of all, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a woman that cares. And I'm just overall a good person. I tell people, get to know me. You get to know me, Regina, you'll be like, oh my God, she is just so cool and down to earth. I mean, I'm the type of person that I will give you the shirt off my back. People will tell you that know me on this block. I have taken in foster kids. I have taken in homeless people. I have let them live in my house. I have adjusted my life to help someone get up on their feet. Those are the type of things that I have done.
I think she missed exactly what Regina is asking her. Now, I'm not saying Regina's being snarky or Regina's being slick, but she's saying basically you don't have a website that people can go to and find out about you. You don't have an online presence where people can go to, Cassie Crash Out for Mayor, .com or whatever like that. You don't have a social media presence. That's what Regina's saying. And Cassie Crash Out's totally missing it. All this stuff that you're telling us, how do we know it? Where do we go to find this information? Because we can't just come knock on your door every time we want to know something about you. We can't do that. You should have a website. You should have a social media presence for your mayoral run only. Because if you notice, most of her social media is like a conglomeration of everything that she's about, which is fine and dandy. But the problem is it's confusing and it muddies up the water. It mixes your business and your church and your personal, and of course your mayoral run. All that stuff is mixed together. And so what Regina, I think, is asking is, where's your website? Okay, let's see if she does.
And I have worked in this community. My hands has literally been on 5 houses in this block. This house right here, when our neighbor passed, I bought the house from the son so it wouldn't just not sit, so it can be back on the tax bracket. I was willing to work extra hours, do whatever I had to do to make sure that this house stayed on the tax bracket.
And you did a lot of the work, all the work. You would
Yeah.
do not just, you did some of the physical work as well.
Yeah, I'm a contractor. I did like 99.9% of the work. I'm that type of girl. You see me like this, but when it's time to work, you see me with the headband, the construction boots on, you see me with the tool belt on. I get in there and I get the job done.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
April 1st is election. You're going to be doing a lot of door knocking up until then.
Yes, every weekend throughout the week, I'm out. I know Dalton is kind of divided up in like 4 zones. And each zone, each weekend, I'm going out, knocking on doors, passing out flyers, addressing the issues of the people. And I want people to feel safe. I want you to get to know me. Forget about what you hear on social media. Forget about what you see on the internet. Get to know me for who I am. Sit down and have a conversation with me. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. Yeah, I'm an open book.
My next question, I have to ask you this. The meetings can be a bit wild sometimes. Do you go to the meetings? If so, why or why not?
I go to the meetings, but I'm the type of person, I like to be productive. I don't like my time wasted. Because one thing about time, and I'm getting older, you got to maximize every moment. So when I go to these meetings, and a lot of times I feel like they're a waste of time because you get nothing accomplished. So sometimes it's like, I'd rather have a hammer in my hand or I'd rather have my chef jacket on. I'd rather be producing, So I'll go to the meetings, but when it's not productive, I can find something else to be doing.
The most recent meeting, literally this week, was super productive. Why were you not there? Oh, that's right. The older woman asked you a question. She was trying to get to know you and you ran away.
Yeah, I'd rather come out and cut the grass of the whole block than to be sitting in a meeting and watching them argue and fight back and forth and point the finger. And at the end of the meeting, nothing gets accomplished.
And then who suffers?
The residents.
Finish the sentence for me. Dalton is
Being rebuilt by Casundra Hopson-Jordan and Denasha Harris for the Rebuilding Dalton Party. It's going to be rebuilt.
Okay, I know this is super petty. Please forgive me, y'all. Please forgive me. She mispronounced her running mate's name again. She did it again. His name is Harrison, and she keeps calling him Harris. I'm going to back it up so you can hear it. Just a little smidgen.
Being rebuilt by Casundra Hopson-Jordan and Denasha Harris for the Rebuilding Dalton Party.
Told you.
It's going to be rebuilt. That's my goal. I'm going to rebuild this village. And I am that type of mayor. As I told someone the other day, you will see me out there cutting grass. You will see me out there planting flowers. That's the type of mayor I am. Listen, behind the desk is good, but I'm the type that, listen, if the neighbor or a resident called me and said, I need help with something, I'm that one. I'm in the car. I'm there at the house. I'm getting it done.
That doesn't, I know that sounds really positive when you think about like, oh man, they get their hands dirty. But really, to me, that does not show that you're a good leader. To me, if you have to get out there and start planting flowers or cutting grass, it means you're not able to find people who believe in your vision, who are willing to do those things, because you shouldn't be doing those. You really clearly and truly, you should have staff that's willing to do those things, not you out there doing them. Again, it sounds good. And it sounds like, oh man, they really getting their hands dirty, which is understandable. But do you have people in place to do that? Now, if the manager is not there today and you step in, I think people probably accept that. If the supervisor was sick or something happened to him or her and you stepped in to help, people would respect that. But if you're saying that you're not going to go get the right people and put them in place, so therefore you have to be out there, that's not the best look, Casundra. I'm just saying.
Because that's just the type of person I am. I'm military. We don't just sit around and we go out in the field and we get it done.
What branch?
Navy.
How many years?
I was in 6 years. I did 4 reserve and then I finished out, 4 active, and then I finished out with the reserve. I was in during the Gulf War.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. So after that Gulf War, I'm like, I love my country, but I love me more. Yeah. No, you're welcome.
What does that mean? I love my country. I love me more. Interesting. Y'all, thank you so much for this. I appreciate lots of people ask me, Jason, did you see this interview? Because y'all know I'm a Regina stan. Y'all know I like Regina. So I'm a Regina stan. So I'm glad that she did this, and I'm glad they had the opportunity to sit down. It seemed like Cassie had some smoke for Regina, but I'm glad that they seemed like they were able to iron that out and have a good interview. What did you think? Down in the comments, let me know. If you waited till the end, if you made it all the way to the end, feel free to drop that green heart in the chat. Let me know that you hung out all the way to the end. And I want to know, did this interview help you at all? Did she give you any insight and wisdom? Did she give you anything that really helped maybe move the dial in another direction or change your perspective on her? I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. Thank you to everybody who's helping us work diligently and hard to hit that 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you all. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.